Caitlin Clark joined Sunday Night Basketball for 2 NBA games. Caitlin Clark is headed to the NBA, at least for a couple of nights. NBC announced Tuesday that Clark, the Indiana Fever star with an enormous following within the game, is joining the network's pregame coverage for its debut of Sunday Night Basketball.
Just when it felt like the Caitlin Clark wave couldn't possibly rise any higher, just when fans assumed she was stepping back to recharge for the grind of another WNBA season, NBC detonated a move that sent shockwaves through the entire sports landscape. This isn't rumor, this isn't speculation, this is a confirmed, era-shifting decision that places Caitlin Clark squarely on the biggest stage in American basketball. Yes, you heard that right. Caitlin Clark is crossing into the NBA universe, not on the court, but as the centerpiece of NBC's long-awaited return of basketball night in America. And this is massive. Think about the timing. Think about the precision. NBC didn't just get the NBA back after decades away, they got the rights, the legacy, the iconic roundball rock energy, but they still needed something electric, something modern, something that could connect Jordan-era loyalists with a new generation raised on highlights and culture. They didn't call LeBron. They didn't call Steph. They picked the 22-year-old force from Iowa who didn't just change women's basketball, she bent the entire sports economy, attention, and future around her name.
Madison Square Garden. The debut. They picked her to kick it off. Not, yeah, it'll do a couple weeks and then you'll come in. No. We need you to launch this thing, dude. We need you to kick this off. See?
And this is where the moment really crystallizes, because what NBC is doing here isn't symbolic. It's declarative. They are telling the entire sports world who they believe matters right now. Caitlin Clark isn't being brought in as a novelty, not as a women's basketball representative, and definitely not as a side story. She's being positioned as a basketball mind. Period. Equal seat. Equal voice. Same desk. Same respect. That matters more than any endorsement deal ever could. Think about the visual alone. Madison Square Garden. The Lakers. The Knicks. Primetime lights. The roundball rock theme humming in the background. And Caitlin Clark sitting shoulder to shoulder with Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady, not asking timid questions, but breaking down actions, calling out defensive rotations, reading coverages in real time. That image alone does more for the legitimacy of women's basketball than 10 marketing campaigns combined. And here's the part that people are missing. NBC didn't just choose Caitlin because she draws eyeballs. They chose her because she translates. Her game makes sense to casual fans and diehards alike. She speaks basketball fluently. She understands spacing, timing, manipulation of defenders, and shot creation in a way that mirrors the modern NBA game. She doesn't need things simplified. She is the simplifier. This also quietly shifts the power dynamic between the WNBA and its broadcast partners. Because now Caitlin isn't just a player negotiating within the league ecosystem. She's a television asset. She's someone networks actively want on air. That gives her leverage that almost no active player in women's sports has ever had. If the WNBA season stalls, if labor talks drag, if the league fumbles another moment, Caitlin doesn't disappear. She stays visible. She stays relevant. She stays powerful. And let's be honest about another uncomfortable truth. When NBA legends sit across from her and treat her like an equal, when they laugh with her, debate with her, learn from her, it undercuts years of dismissive narratives overnight. It becomes much harder for critics to say, it's not the same game, when Carmelo Anthony is nodding along to her breakdown of weak side help defense. It becomes much harder to marginalize women's basketball when Vince Carter is genuinely impressed by her shooting mechanics and decision-making. This is why this move feels bigger than TV. It feels like positioning. NBC is betting that Caitlin Clark isn't just a star of this era, but a bridge between eras. Someone who can carry basketball culture forward across leagues, genders, and generations. And judging by everything we've seen so far, that bet looks incredibly safe. So no, Caitlin Clark didn't leave Indiana. She didn't abandon the WNBA. But she just expanded her footprint into the heart of the NBA's media universe. And once you're there, once you're seen as essential to the conversation, not optional to it, everything changes.
Tease about what might be coming during Clark's debut appearance. We're hoping to have Kaylin with a basketball in her hand. That's not a tease. That's not a tease. Not teasing the shoe, right?
And just when the conversation couldn't get any louder, producer Sam Flood casually lit a match and walked away, teasing that they want Caitlyn on set with a basketball in her hands, and instantly the internet spiraled into overdrive. What does that actually mean? Are we about to witness a surprise shooting challenge if Reggie Miller drops by? A live breakdown of her own mechanics from the logo? Or the theory that has fans losing their minds, a surprise reveal of her long-rumored signature Nike shoe? Nike has been silent, almost too silent, and there is no bigger stage than Madison Square Garden, national television, millions watching, to pull off the ultimate marketing flex. Some critics will say she's too young, too inexperienced for this role, but that argument collapses the second you remember she's been under bright lights her entire life. She thrived on an alternate Final Four broadcast, jumped into the Yankees booth without missing a beat, and showed she's not just comfortable on camera, she owns it. Her basketball IQ isn't manufactured hype, it's real, the way she sees passing lanes before they open and angles before they exist, and that perspective is exactly what an NBA broadcast has been missing. This move doesn't just feel fresh, it feels necessary, a direct contrast to the recycled, robotic analysis fans complain about every night. And there's a bigger ripple here too, because putting the face of the WNBA in the middle of an NBA broadcast finally builds the bridge fans have been waiting for. It quietly tells NBA viewers that if you respect her breakdowns, you should respect her game, and that kind of cross-pollination could send WNBA interest into another orbit when the season tips off. On the business side, the chess move is just as sharp. Caitlyn is already partnered with Xfinity, under the Comcast umbrella that owns NBC, making this feel inevitable but still stunning in how fast it came together. At 22, she's stacking her resume for a post-playing career while still in her prime, still at the peak of her fame, showing a level of foresight most athletes don't reach until retirement. So when February 1st arrives, expect energy, expect substance, and expect NBC to put her front and center, breaking down offenses, dissecting footwork, and offering a modern player's lens on stars like LeBron and Brunson. Her game mirrors today's NBA, built on range, pace, and space, making her the perfect voice for this era. And let's be honest, the cool factor matters. Caitlyn brings youth, relevance, and a connection to the next generation that instantly makes the show feel alive. NBC knows exactly what they're doing, and this feels like a win across the board, for the network, for the league, and for Caitlin Clark herself. February 1st isn't just another broadcast, it's a moment, and it might be the start of something even bigger than basketball fans are ready for.